Hello hot messes! I am the reigning queen of hot messes today, as I just moved across the country. Don't know if you could tell. You could tell. But on a much happier note, today we're going to be discussing the final two chapters of Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In. Okay, so now I'm starting to feel a little bit guilty about the fact that for the last 2 weeks I wasn't feeling this book that hard because I was really feeling these chapters. I feel like specifically chapter 10 really applies to sort of the world outside of just the limited microcosm that Sheryl Sandberg is talking about. I really relate to a lot of what this is talking about from college and from work. Gender being an invisible issue and how it's really difficult to talk about it being an issue, and it's really difficult as a woman to express that it's more difficult in certain situations to be a woman. I really like this excerpt that I'm just gonna read to you. Sometimes I wonder what it would be like to go through life without being labeled by my gender. I don't wake up thinking, what am I going to do today as Facebook's female COO? But that's often how I'm referred to by others. When people talk about a female pilot, a female engineer, or a female race car driver, the word female implies a bit of surprise. Men in the professional world are rarely seen through this same gender lens. A Google search for Facebook's male CEO returns this message: no results found. I really like the way she's delivering this message. Like, I'm not whining, I'm not inventing problems so that I have something to complain about. If you Google that, that's what you get. This is a real world problem. I also really like that she delves into the issue of women being afraid to identify as feminists. When I entered college, I was also terrified of that word, thinking that it meant people who hate men, who won't shut up about their one little cause that doesn't even matter that much. It really took me studying women and gender studies in college for me to realize that feminism is not a dirty word and that it just is supposed to encompass the whole idea of attempting to reach equality between the sexes and people of all genders and people of all races, and really just trying to improve the way that we treat other people in this world. I also want to read my favorite quotations from the end of the book, from the end of the 11th chapter. I look toward the world I want for all children, and my own. My greatest hope is that my son and daughter will be able to choose what to do with their lives without external or internal obstacles slowing them down or making them question their choices. If my son wants to do the important work of raising children full-time, I hope he is respected and supported. And if my daughter wants to work full-time outside her home, I hope she is not just respected and supported, but also liked for her achievements. That pretty much sums up what she's trying to accomplish in this book, and I like it. So yeah, it's been a fun experience reading this book. I really want to talk about how I feel about the whole thing in general, so for next week's video, if you have any, like, general thoughts on the book as a whole, or favorite quotations from the book as a whole, leave them in a comment or send them to me in an email or a Twitter message, etc., so that we can just sort of round it all up and talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, etc. So that's a wrap on Sheryl, and I'll see you next Monday. Do not forget to follow us on Twitter or Tumblr, or send us comments or questions or favorite quotations. That would be very fun.